What is up, Watch fam? Happy Friday, and welcome to this week's episode of Liquor Run. I am Christian from Theo and Harris, and this is my old man,
Rolly.
And today we're going to be diving into Rolex's brand new root beer GMT. What we think about it from kind of a historical perspective.
Great.
So let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, before we jump into Rolex, a quick wristwatch check, which happens to be a little Rolex.
It is. It's a little old. Well, every week it's a little older and older.
That's right.
Fades a little bit more, but
And it's the Pepsi GMT.
it is the Pepsi GMT.
Yours is the last aluminum GMT and Pepsi ever made.
Yeah.
And there never will be another one.
Right.
You know, now they make them in ceramic, and it was a big release. But at the same time as they released the new ceramic Pepsi, they released the root beer that we're talking about today. So I'm wearing my vintage GMT Master, a watch that you and Mom gifted me for my 21st.
That's right.
Real cool watch. I wear it super often. I absolutely love it. All right, so what are we drinking? Actually, something that I put together today for you.
Tonight, no wine.
No wine. Yeah, we're doing a little a lot of ice, some gin, and limoncello. So mix it around a little bit.
Right. Is there a name for this drink?
I don't know. I found it on Google when I googled limoncello cocktails.
Okay.
Really get it around. Real stir it around. Poppy, your father-in-law, my grandpa, makes limoncello every year, and it's delicious. I love having it, after dinner. But I think that finding a cocktail with it is fun for the summertime.
Yeah.
You don't like it? You don't like it? I like it.
Yeah.
I think it's refreshing.
Okay. Cheers.
I think that at Tom Collins I'd be more your speed.
Maybe.
But I don't know. I think it's tasty. So,
Fine.
Jesus Christ.
It's a nice little buzz though. Quick. I did not go to the post office. Damn.
Okay, so let's start today's conversation right here, right? Not too long ago. Rolex released a brand new Pepsi GMT, a watch that the whole watch world was waiting for years, and it was finally delivered. But it wasn't the only GMT, ceramic GMT, that Rolex released this year. Okay, they also released the root beer, which is a reinterpretation of their 1980s classic. It was manufactured in two variations. One was in Rolesaur, which is Rolex's way of saying basically two-tone, stainless steel and Ever Rose gold in the center links, and the other was in solid rose gold. Okay, both watches were fitted with a black and dark brown bezel and a black dial. Okay, other than the color variation, this is a true, modern GMT. There was nothing different about it apart from the metals and the colors. But this watch is very different than the other GMTs in the current catalog, as you can see. Whether they come in black or Pepsi or whatever it might be, those are much, I think, more kind of mass appeal. They're much sportier. This watch with the Ever Rose and the steel is kind of funny, okay? But it has historical precedent. The root beer GMT dates all the way back to 1981 when Rolex released their reference 16750, which is the third reference of their GMT Master, okay? And the watch is here.
What's very interesting about this watch is that the color scheme is very much a late 70s, very early 80s color scheme.
Brown and gold?
Brown and gold, even on
Clothing?
on clothing, apparel. You saw that combination of yellow and brown. I think I had
A velour tracksuit?
Yeah, I had a velour tracksuit.
Sergio Tacchini.
Yeah, very yellow shirt. Yeah, no, but it's all kidding aside. Yellow and brown was very big back then.
Really?
Yes.
Because that's
Remember it well.
I'm 22. That is a very odd color scheme for anything that I've ever seen.
Very dated.
But I actually, I don't know how you feel.
Yeah.
I love these vintage root beers.
Is it a straight cut through?
It's a straight cut, just like your GMT.
Okay, it looks like a fade.
No, it's a straight.
Okay.
Well, and that's your observation there is exactly my point. This watch kind of fades. It kind of blends together, right? Black, Ever Rose, and chocolate kind of all look the same.
Yeah, they do.
Whereas with the vintage root beers, everything is, the yellow and the brown.
Yeah.
And the yellow gold. Boom.
Yes.
It pops. Even if you look at the Ever Rose and the steel, they're not all that dissimilar in color. Ever Rose almost, it looks more like steel than it does gold.
Yeah.
Which is a product of the copper mixture,
Yes.
I think, in
Yes.
the gold. Overall, I don't love the watch, right? I think that it's really interesting that Rolex reintroduced a new iteration of a root beer. Everyone saw the Pepsi coming, or at least everyone wanted the Pepsi, and no one thought that the oddball GMT was coming back.
Yeah.
So for that, I give Rolex kudos.
Yeah, no, I think this is a real interesting watch. Would it be my go-to if I'm in the market for a new one? I don't know if I can say that.
Especially at 14 grand.
Yeah, 14 grand. It's quite pricey. But
at 14 grand, you're almost getting into your Longa.
Yeah. No,
or you basically are getting into your Longa.
Yeah. Jubilee bracelet too is a big differentiator here on these two.
Do you
watches.
prefer the Jubilee?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Even though, right?
Well, no, I'm saying on this watch, you prefer the Jubilee.
The Jubilee, yeah.
Right. To me, on the Pepsis, I prefer the Oyster.
Yeah.
But the Jubilee is a more delicate, intricate bracelet.
Right.
And I think that when you're going two-tone, oftentimes the Jubilee just makes more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Not that the two-tone Oyster doesn't make sense, because it does, but the two-tone Jubilee, the Jubilee is a dress bracelet.
Yeah.
It's not a sports bracelet like the Oyster. So the two-tone just, it's almost like appropriating a sports watch into the expensive, dressy realm.
Right.
There's logic there.
Right. Okay, so my one critique about the watch is that this watch will probably look the same for the rest of its life, right?
It's a pretty ritzy watch, and it's not really going to age, no.
So for those people that do enjoy
a true sports watch
that will age. Again, I'm going to bring it right back to wine, right? Because there's this whole debate about whether using synthetic cork is the right thing, which doesn't let any air in, versus cork, which does let some air in, and they say that it allows for better aging and things like that. So what do you prefer? Do you prefer
aging and changing?
Aging, changing.
Or exactly as it is when it went in the bottle.
Or exactly right. So the aging process is just not the same.
Right.
More, yeah. What do you like? I happen to like the aging process. I think it says a lot. It says a lot about where that watch has been.
It makes it
more
of a living item.
Right, exactly, right. And every scar on that watch says something. There was a story behind everything.
Right.
So I do like the fade. I like the aging of a watch as much as I like the aging of a wine.
Right, yeah. And especially because they're sports watches.
Mm-hmm.
A vintage Date-8 or a vintage Patek 96 or whatever, that was supposed to be treated really delicately. It was supposed to be, really nurtured. But with a sports watch, I feel like kind of the point is that it's supposed to be beaten up and not look the same 40 years later.
Right.
Whereas with this new technology, with the ceramic bezels and with the way that the dials are just preserved and they're not affected by fading and not affected by discoloration or cracks and things like that. To me, I mean, maybe it's because I grew up with you and whatever, but I agree. I mean, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Your sports watch isn't going to show the scars. How old are you right now?
I'm in my 50s.
You're a sick guy. That's what you are. So you're 53?
Yeah. Not yet.
You'll be 53. Right. You've had this watch for 11 years.
Yes.
13 years.
13 years.
13 years.
13 years. 13 years.
You are legit. Yeah. You will get, and this is me, you will get another 40 years out of this watch at a minimum. Right. You'll live till 40, 93, 95, and you'll wear this watch until the end.
Yeah.
You think this watch has aged in the first 13 years? You imagine what that watch is going to look like in another 40?
Yeah, and of course it all depends on how I wear it from now.
Yeah, but you know how you're going to wear it though.
Yeah.
You know how you're going to wear it. You're going to wear that watch just like the same way as you wear it now.
You're
all the time.
Right. Yeah.
On vacation.
Yes.
And that's so much of the charm.
Right.
I remember this watch like this, right? But looking back in 40 years, is the blue going to be gone?
I don't know. That's a big question.
How many more vacations are we going to be on that you ding it or the bracelet stretches or it's so much of a part of it.
Yeah.
A sports watch is a companion.
I couldn't say it better myself. I mean,
and everything gets old, man.
It's become a companion.
Yeah, and just like you, it gets better with age.
Thank you very much. Wow. And by the way, you've lived with me since you were born, but you didn't grow up with me because you're still immature.
Jesus Christ! You're still a child. Salud, Daddy-O. I think we give a pretty awesome insight into this new release.
Yeah.
Not our favorite, but there's a lot to be said.
Yeah.
Salud.
Salud.